Chapter 20. Josh was taken aback by how warm the shop was. He understood the name as well, because the place was, indeed, narrow. On either side were clothing racks that lined the two walls, forming a closed-in path to a counter. At the counter sat a young man with greasy, spiked blonde hair. The man looked up at them slowly, as if he'd just awoken from a deep sleep.
"Welcome to the narrow shop in the land of constant starlight. May I help you?"
Rockne took a step forward, and the man jumped up in surprise. "Remember me?" the old wizard asked.
"How could I forget?"
The owner backed away, his eyes wide. Josh could see from where he stood that his nose suddenly started bleeding.
"I still haven't seen your lovely friend. Is that why you're here?"
Rockne laughed.
"Centuries ago, and you're still protecting her? You're loyal to the end, aren't you?"
He walked up to the counter. Josh could see no way to get on the other side short of jumping over it. He followed Rockne.
"Centuries?"
the owner asked, incredulous.
"Has it been that long?"
He looked over his shoulder at a nearly empty shelf. A silver jar, filled with a golden mist, sat upon that shelf.
"Haven't you noticed this town is empty, Wes?"
Rockne asked. Wes looked shocked. He nodded.
"I had noticed, but I didn't think much about it."
He wiped the blood from his nose. Now that he was closer, Josh noticed Wes's eyes. Though his face looked like that of a man in his mid-20s, his eyes looked dull and gray. Wes suddenly looked at Josh with those old eyes.
"Who are you?"
"I'm Josh. I was a Gelfin, too." That seemed to intrigue the shop owner.
"Really? I haven't seen another in centuries. Are you not still a Gelfin?"
"No, I'm a nature demon." Wes jumped again, startling Josh and Rockne.
"Get out. I'll not have nature demons in my business."
"Hold on," Josh said calmly, pulling the necklace from under his shirt. He made sure Wes saw it. "While I'm wearing this, I don't have any powers. I'm not here to hurt you." Wes's eyes widened at the sight of the necklace.
"I'll remember that."
"I figured you would," Rockne spoke up. "It belonged to my friend, Rapatha." At the mention of her name, Wes's attention snapped from the necklace to the wizard.
"Rapatha? Is she all right? You found her, didn't you? You hurt her and took that necklace."
He sounded angrier by the second.
"I didn't hurt her," Rockne said. "But she is ill. That's why we're here. I know you turned her into an island and—" "An island? What are you talking about?" "She's an island now, because of the magic you gave her." "She wasn't supposed to turn into an island." "What was she supposed to turn into then?" "A rock. That's all. And it wasn't meant to be permanent. She was supposed to be able to change at will whenever she needed to."
Wes raised an eyebrow.
"What is Rapatha?"
"She was a nature demon as well." The owner suddenly clapped his hands and laughed, scaring Josh. The young nature demon had been falling asleep due to the warm air and mild smell of spices in the shop, but now he was fully awake.
"That's why the spell went awry,"
Wes said, as if he just remembered something.
"Because she was a nature demon. Wait, you said she's hurt?"
"Yes, she was struck by a meteor and—"
"A what?"
Rockne sighed.
"A rock from the sky. She's fatally wounded, and she needs the life essence you took from her in exchange for the magic."
Wes started to turn his head toward the shelf, but stopped himself.
"I'm afraid I don't have it anymore."
Rockne stared at the lone jar.
"Is that so?" "It is."
Rockne leaned on the counter, close to Wes's face.
"The way I see it, the product you sold her was defective. That should render the transaction void. I think it's only fair you give her a refund."
Rockne had spoken so quietly, the threat in his voice unmistakable. The two men stared at each other for a few silent moments, and Wes's nose started bleeding again.
"It's my last jaw," he whispered. "After that, I will surely die. Rapatha will surely die as well if she doesn't get it back."
Another quiet moment. Josh couldn't stand it anymore. "Why do you want to live any longer?" he asked Wes. "You're alone in a dead city, with nothing to show for it. Is it really worth it?"
"How long have you been alive?"
the owner asked. 19 years. He left out how he was dead now. It was too complicated to explain. Wes's eyes widened.
"That's all?"
"It was too long. I killed my twin sister when our mom was still pregnant. I leeched her life away to save my own."
"Oh, I'm sorry to hear that."
Wes sounded genuine.
"Have you harmed any others?"
"A few. Almost all of them were accidental." Josh's voice choked up, but he managed to keep himself under control. Wes nodded.
"The life of a Gelfin is lonely and dangerous. You'll most likely never meet another one who can understand what you go through."
Josh nodded. "I think we're related. My nose bleeds, used to bleed, whenever I got really scared, the same way yours does." Wes grinned.
"Is that so?"
He looked over at the jar again. Finally, he sighed and grabbed it.
"The last time I saw Rapatha, she asked me if I ever did anything important with my life."
He handed the jar over.
"Tell her this is it."
Rockne took the jar.
"Thank you, Wes."